All right, well, what's up? I'm new here on YouTube, but I've been watching ASMR videos for a very long time. Probably since 2012. Um, just kind of got into soft spoken stuff, a lot of binaural stuff, and I don't know, since then I've been falling asleep with AirPods in. Well, I guess I got into it before AirPods were even a thing, but been listening to it every night for as long as I can remember. And I guess what this is just a kind of way to make the things that I like to watch that maybe I wish there was more of, and maybe there are more people like me who like these things. I definitely am more into soft spoken than I am into whispering. Definitely am more into off the cuff rambling more than I am into role plays or scripted experiences, or just making a lot of sound. I really just enjoy listening to somebody talk about something that I can clearly tell they are knowledgeable about, or that they have an opinion about, etc. And so I figured the best way that I could maybe contribute is I love music. I play music. I write music. I listen to music all the time. I've gone to I don't even know how many shows throughout my life. I work in an industry that has me working with artists a lot, and over the years I've collected a lot of records, and so and not just vinyl, but before I got the vinyl itch when I was in college, I had a ton of CDs too. Maybe those will make their way on here, but I kind of had this idea years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was just one of those things that I constantly drag my feet about to get done. And at this point, I've started a handful of businesses, a handful of bands and projects, and like I'm not dumb. I know that you just gotta do the thing, and so here I am on a Sunday night in March, and I just decided, you know what, it's time to start. And so, I don't know what this could turn into, but for now, I will pick an album that I like, talk about what I like about it, talk about what I know about the artist. I don't know. Those are things that I enjoy, that I would love to see more videos of online. And so I figured, why not do that in a relaxing way? Because again, what I prefer is just listening to somebody talk about something until I fall asleep. Not that I'm not focused on it, but it's more important that I can tell that the person is confident about the things that they're saying. I don't know. That's just what works for me. And again, it's less about tingles or anything like that, and more is just like, I don't know if I have like ADHD or anything. I'm not about to self-diagnose myself on TikTok or whatever, but I do have a hard time like slowing my mind down when it's time to sleep. And so I've found that these sorts of things really help. And so hopefully this helps you. I don't know. I have access to a lot of lighting and camera and sound equipment, and so I've debated between do I just shoot this on my phone, or do I use this crazy rig? Right now I'm using a pretty nice camera, but only just one light. I don't know. We'll see. And obviously, if you like this, please let me know what you like about it. I'll probably do these just when I have time to myself. And, again, like I said, just to put something out there that I would look for. But, I'm always open to suggestions and anything like that. And maybe, I have a pretty extensive record collection, but maybe there's something I don't have yet that I do already listen to that I could always order or go try and find at my local shop and put it on here. But and maybe this will grow. I like movies a lot too, and old video games and things like that. So I don't know. We could always talk about a bunch of things. Sorry about the noise. I do live in a city. But yeah, I guess here we go. For the first video, I figured I wanted to pick a record that was popular in the sense that, like, somebody knew it. A decent amount of people knew it, but maybe it's not like a mainstream pop record. And so I figured this, Sufjan Stevens, Carrie and Lowell. I guess at this point I'd probably say this is his most commercially successful record. Outside of, I think, the songs from the Call Me By Your Name soundtrack. I think maybe have garnered some more streams on the internet, but for a record as a whole, this album, I think most people have heard a song off of it or have seen this album cover or whatever. And so, yeah, I really love it. I think it just turned 9 years old. I think it came out early spring of 2015. I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, great album. I've loved Sufjan for a while. A friend of mine introduced me to him when I was relatively young. And it didn't really click for me because I was like 12 years old. There were a few songs I really liked. A friend of mine showed me, an older friend of mine who was in high school at the time, showed me a lot of indie music when I was younger. And I was really into I just want to listen to catchy, tight guitars and floor on the floor drums, a lot of, Vampire Weekend, Franz Ferdinand, Wolf Parade, all that stuff. And I would, I'd go on iTunes and I would just listen to 30-second previews of everything to find out what I liked before I would find other ways to get the music onto my iPod. Those of you who used the internet back before streaming was a thing probably know what I'm talking about. And so one of the artists that my friend recommended was Sufjan Stevens, and at that point, I think Illinois had been out for a couple. I think Illinois came out in 2005, so this is 2006, 2007. That was the most recent record, if I remember correctly. And so I listened through all the previews, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool," but it's it wasn't what I was in the mood for when he showed it to me. And so, I listened to it. I put it on my iPod, but I didn't listen to it a ton. And then Age of Odds came out, and that blew my mind. I think that came out when I was 15 and was just an insane record. Vesuvius, big standout for me. Lots of stuff on there that I like. But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, between Age of Odds and this record, there was a pretty decent amount of time before Sufjan had created a proper, Sufjan Stevens record. He had worked on other things and was busy. I think, he put out that massive Christmas album, which also incredible. But this was the first proper Sufjan Stevens record in a while when it came out. And so I think the first song that came out, if I remember correctly, is No Shade in the Shadow of the Cross. And, just a heart-wrenching song. I remember hearing that and watching the little video for it on YouTube when it came out, and I was just sitting in my dorm, just kind of sat there in silence. I have a background of faith. Not always entirely sure of where I land on things now, but at that time, was definitely questioning things, but was very still involved in that world, and it was a pretty big part of my life. And so, the Sufjan's, how would you say, parallels with how he writes with referencing scripture and things like that are always really interesting. But I think the reason that this record really took off is because that kind of takes a backseat in some of the songs, or most of them, with a few being a pretty big exception, obviously. No Shade in the Shadow of the Cross, and then John My Beloved, another really incredible song. I would say probably in my top 3 on the whole record. That does reference Christ and the apostles and things like that. But the main focus of this record is really about these two people, Carrie and Lowell. And from what I can remember is that she is his actual biological mother, Carrie, and then Lowell was his stepfather, who she married. And Lowell has now gone on to be a big collaborator with Sufjan. They put out a record together a few years ago, I think 2019, 2020, I can't remember. And also he helps run Sufjan's label, Asthmatic Kitty, that this also came out on. You can see it down here, Asthmatic Kitty Records 2015. And so, I honestly don't really remember much of the packaging here, so I'm just going to open it. But here you have Sufjan as a child, and there's his mom. He's eating a banana. Oh, and then here we have all of the lyrics and some information. So let's see. Oh, wow. This is actually the first time I'm reading some of these liner notes. I had no idea that Sean Carrie played on this. For those of you who don't know, Sean Carrie, who usually goes by S. Carrie, is one of the founding members, or maybe he's not one of the founding members, but a very important piece of Bon Iver with Justin Vernon. He also writes really good solo music. Maybe I'll do one of his records on here one day. And then another one that I'm really surprised to see, well, not surprised, but just I didn't know, is Laura Veers or Veers. I still have never known how to say her name. But also a great solo musician. Check out her stuff. And Casey Faubert. The other people on here I'm not super familiar with, but I did go catch Sufjan on this tour. That's actually the last time I saw him live was, I think it was 2015. I went to see him in a symphony hall. It was incredible. The live version of Blue Bucket of Gold is one of the best things I've ever seen live. If you get a chance to listen to, there's actually a live version of this record that's out. I would definitely recommend checking that out with a good pair of headphones or a good pair of speakers, because it really was a great show. But yeah, I think on that tour, sorry, I lost my train of thought. On that tour, he had James McAllister playing drums. James McAllister is a fantastic musician, percussionist. He's done a lot of other things. They did a project together called Planetarium. A bit more spaced out, no pun intended, than this record is, but also really good stuff. And then there was someone else, I can't remember her last name, Dawn something. She was on the tour, was incredible. She also does a lot of solo stuff as well. But yeah, I didn't pick up this record on that tour. I did pick up, though, I used to be a little bit out of control, and I would get like variants of everything. And so I had like the original clear version of this. Then there was a different version of the, like, there was like a fully clear, and then there was like a milky clear version. And I picked up the milky clear version at the tour. And then there was also a tour exclusive 7-inch, which I do have here. It's called Exploding Whale. I'm not gonna show it to you. It's a good song. It's cool. And maybe it wasn't tour exclusive, or maybe there was just a version of it that was exclusive to the tour. Either way, I made sure that I picked one up. But yeah, just some really incredible music here. Some really just, putting your whole heart out there. Stuff. And for me personally, I'm fortunate enough that I have not lost a parent yet, at this stage in my life. But at the time when this came out, I had, I think, 2 different friends in the same year, close friends of mine, lose their first parent. And yeah, I think, grief is a unique thing for everybody, but I think there is a universal sort of thread, I think, that a lot of people, this record tapped into that, for a lot of people, even though, these stories are so, the way it's written is very personal and intimate. What is it, Eugene? Yeah. Lemon yogurt. Remember, I pulled at your shirt. I dropped the ashtray on the floor. I just wanted to be near you. And what's the other part he says here? Yeah. The man who taught me how to swim. He couldn't quite say my first name. Like a father, he let community water on my head, and he called me Subaru. And now I want to be near you. Obviously, these are very personal, vivid memories that Sufjan has of these experiences, but it it leads to this sense of loss and of wanting to be near somebody who's not there anymore. And that's something that everybody can kind of tap into. And I know that sounds really superficial, like, of course everybody would know how that feels, but I don't know, there's just something about the way these songs are written that, again, are very personal and intimate to Sufjan, which again he did again on his newest record, Javelin, which you got to give it to this guy. He's been through a lot of shit. This record about his mom, the newest one, he said, a lot of the songs were dedicated to his partner who had passed away between the recording of the record and when it released. And just, there's a way that it feels like we're getting a very intimate look at somebody's personal life and the things they're wrestling with, but also in a way that can reflect back at people who have experienced maybe similar things in a different way, or the details are different. Or even, right, for myself, I'm moved by this record and I haven't really experienced a huge loss. I've had grief, pets die, grandparents die, close people, take their own life at a young age, things like that, or, it's real shit that happens in life. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting how this record has really stuck out, and it's crazy that it's already almost 10 years old. I'll take it out. It's just a standard black copy, but probably need to clean. Ooh, yeah, it's a bit dusty. I gotta clean this, but yeah. I'll just run through the track list. Side A is Death with Dignity. I really love that intro. Just the plucking, the harmonies between all the instruments, when the piano comes in, it's just beautiful. I remember one time I was on a road trip with my dad actually, and we were driving through a really beautiful place through the mountains, and just decided to put this album on, and just, yeah, I don't know, the music just really fit. And obviously, it was with one of my parents, and had a bit of a deeper meaning. But yeah, Death with Dignity, great way to start the record. Should have known better. Definitely a highlight on the album. All of Me Wants All of You. For me, probably one of the weaker tracks. And again, it's not saying that it's not good. It's still better than a majority of other artists' output. But just when you have a record just full to the brim of amazing songs, some of them are going to be not as good as others. And so for me, All of Me Wants All of You is a bit further down on the list. Drawn to the Blood, I think, is a bit of a sleeper. Yeah, I don't know. That's just one that I kind of forget about until I put this album on. And then when I listen to it, I'm like, man, this guy, he just knows how to write. And then, yeah, 4th of July is obviously a huge track off of this. People have covered it. That one's very direct with, his mother being in the hospital and things like that. Just a tragic and beautiful journey that he takes us on in that song. And then side B, the super dusty one that I'll have to clean off here. The Only Thing, great track. Title track, Carrie and Lowell, also really good. Eugene, the one I just kind of read the lyrics from. For me, probably another highlight. And then, like I said, John My Beloved. That's probably one of my favorite Sufjan songs he's ever written. Just really impacts me on a personal level. Everybody's experience is a little different, but that one for me, it's just real heavy whenever I listen to it. And then, yeah, No Shade in the Shadow of the Cross, and then Blue Bucket of Gold, great way to close it. And again, that live version, just kind of just building this wall of sound, looping it over and over, just creating this massive soundscape. Yeah, I mean, that's probably up there for me in the top 10 shows I've ever seen. And that song is a big part of it. And ironically, also Vesuvius on that tour was very good live. Yeah, I don't know. I really know what else to say about this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing me ramble. Like I said, I just like listening to people talk about things without it really being scripted, or without there being a million, let me tap all over this, and I'm going to say the same word 20 times. Nothing against those people, just it literally does nothing for me. And I usually, once that starts happening, I turn the video off and try to find something else. But yeah, I guess this is episode 1. Sufjan Stevens, Carrie and Lowell. Yeah, I've got other records by him that I can go through. If that's something you want me to do, I can definitely get those set up. Like I said, I also have that 7-inch. Actually, I do have the Call Me By Your Name soundtrack. Great soundtrack, great movie. But yeah, I think that is it. I'll leave this here. If you liked this, I guess let me know. I will probably make another one soon. I mean, this setup is really easy for me. Obviously, I'm going to check in, just make sure this all sounds good, because I am using a shotgun microphone, which I don't know if a lot of people use that for ASMR videos, but it feels like the easiest thing for me. And it is, as long as I'm in the line of sight, we can make it happen. But, yeah, also I have no idea how my voice sounds soft-spoken. Outside of, anybody I've been, romantically involved with, or, talking to my dog. It's just not something that I do very often. But, yeah, I hope this goes well. Again, leave me comments if there's anything you like or you're looking forward to or that you would want to see me talk about. I think my taste is relatively eclectic. I don't, you know, I'm not an audiophile, and I'm not like I don't have like a music journalist, plethora of knowledge, but I feel like I've listened to a lot of music growing up and was introduced to a lot of stuff at a pretty young age that's helped me develop a taste um, that's pretty varied. So, I don't know. Hopefully, I have something else that you like. Um, Again, I wanted to start on something that would be considered a bit more popular. Uh, but, I got some weird ones. And I've got some even more popular ones. So I guess we will see what happens. But for now, I think that's going to be it for me. I don't actually know how long I've been recording this. Yeah, I was an idiot. I'm running time code on the camera, so I can't see. But I think this is somewhere around 16 minutes right now. I think. I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you like. Maybe what you didn't like, what I could do better. Again, just trying to put something out there that maybe is a bit harder to find for me. And hopefully this will find somebody else who's looking for it. But yeah, that's going to be it. I will see you guys in the next one. And yeah, peace out.